What's up, guys? Here to talk about Jeen-Yuhs. Genius. If you have not seen Jeen-Yuhs, please stop what you're doing right now. Go see Jeen-Yuhs. Actually, don't stop what you watch this video first, then go see Jeen-Yuhs. But wow, just such an amazing film. Honestly, I've probably seen it about over 10 times. I've watched it over like 10 times now. Just super inspiring, just an inspiring film. Obviously, we all know it tells the story of Kanye West. It's only the first act, and it tells the story of, early beginnings of Kanye West, and you kind of see what he goes through, on his journey to become, this rap icon that he is today. Story is just more than Kanye West, and I think that's the thing that really resonates with me. First of all, Cootie, the man behind the camera, you get to see this, just the selflessness that he has, and really the vision, and not only the vision, but the divine friendship, just the good friendship that he has, towards Kanye West. I think I was like 9 years old when The College Dropout came out. For me, that album really spoke to me and my brother. I think both of us. We're from Pittsburgh, the west side of Pittsburgh, lower middle class area, hood adjacent, you could pretty much say. We went to school other side of town on the east side of Pittsburgh, and I went to a Catholic school. And our experiences, my dad was in the military, so we traveled a lot. So we were very much people that in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Be with the hood kids and kind of street kids, and be able to hold our own, and then we could be with the wealthy kids that maybe come from money and class, and still be with them. And they would sometimes think like, hey, like they would think we're rich, and we're like, oh, we ain't rich. My mom and dad did what they could, but we weren't rich. So The College Dropout, it just really spoke to me, at that young age. I felt like what Kanye was saying and some of the things that he was talking about are some of the things my dad would talk to us about, my mom would talk to us about, school, education. I know it's called The College Dropout, but just being edification, I should say, more than education. Some of the things that go on in our community. To see an early rhyme fest, everybody that kind of has been around Kanye, you get to see early of them. Consequence in his Newark apartment. You get to see Kanye in his Newark apartment, the part where Cootie first moves to New York, and it's Talib Kweli and Mos Def on a street in New York, and just listening to music, and it's so pure. You really get to see Kanye at such a pure moment in his life, kind of big-eyed, starry-eyed, kind of guy. We get to really see the real him instead of some of this stuff that we see today. I mean, we get to see hip-hop history. The first time Pharrell and Kanye meet, we get to see that. Like, these are some of the greatest producers ever, not even just of our time, the greatest producers ever. We get to see Pharrell embrace Kanye in such a positive manner, and still, seems like the way he is today. It doesn't seem like Pharrell's ever missed a beat. Pharrell comes out of his, I guess it's his dressing room or something like that, and Pharrell's just another guy on the wall, man. He's just posted up, just has to introduce himself, say who he is to Pharrell, and Pharrell knows him. When he says Kanye West, Pharrell's like, oh man, this dude, has sick tracks, and it really shows a passion and a love that Pharrell also has for the music. What I'm saying? That hasn't changed. Another person that's just just on the wall we get to see like a glimpse of is Beyonce. Like, she's just, I guess she's like kind of outside Jay-Z's dressing room. But she's just like, just smiling, like, kind of seems like she looks like right into the camera. Like, she's, obviously still Beyonce, but like, she doesn't have this fandom type of energy that you kind of see that, we see today, Beehive, you know what I'm saying? So it's really, really cool to see people just at their early, it's very inspirational to anyone following their dreams. So recently, Kanye has said in the past that, he was on Drink Champs and stuff, and he was saying that, like, somewhere along the lines of like, yo, I'm not a backpack rapper. Like, I was just, using Talib or using them, to give it that. And I gotta say, from this documentary, I think that's very untrue. I know he misspeaks a lot, so I will say he definitely misspoke in this. The reason I say that is because there's a couple guys that he's with in Chicago, Payroll, who I guess they show in Act 2 he has a fight with. And recently I just learned he passed away a couple years ago, so rest in peace to him. You can see his energy with Talib and all these guys, and then you can see his energy with, the street guys and stuff like that. And I don't think that's real, because he doesn't dress like them, he doesn't act like them. You can see he's more comfortable with Mos Def and Talib, and he has Woody Harrison. I think it's Woody Harrison, how you say it. Backstage with them, and I'll say this. I won't say he's totally backpack, but to diss them on Drink Champs and say I use them is wrong, because he's not no. He doesn't have that street thing, and I don't have that either. I can relate to that because I'm like, I know I can see what type of dude you are. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why I resonated to you. So to him so much at an early age, because I'm like, wow, this guy's a older version of. There is somebody like you out there, you know what I mean? And that's definitely inspiring to see as a young black kid, going up in the city, you know what I'm saying, inner city, and not being into, oh man, I don't want to talk about, popping shit or street shit, you know what I'm saying? So if you followed Rockefeller, you know the situation of like Beanie Siegel coming to save him when he's in like, I think he was in like Brooklyn, some Brooklyn cats, and Beanie Siegel came in and he like paged him, and they pulled up with like all these, I think it was like Dame Dash, a bunch of Philly dudes or whatnot, and saved Kanye, you know what I'm saying? Made him pull his chain back out, told him eat his food, you know what I mean? Like, made him comfortable. And Beanie Siegel, real street North Philly dude. That dynamic, saying that you could see this in this documentary, that, Kanye is very much in both communities, you know what I'm saying? And very much, like he said, I'm the Gap, like Banana Republic and Old Navy. Like, you can see that he's like going between Raucous records and then Rockefeller records, and Raucous at that time is like very like conscious hip hop, and then Rockefeller is obviously Rockefeller with Jay and and Dame and Memphis Bleak and all them. Another thing is like tenacious, believing in yourself so much that other people's opinions about you or your music or your craft or your art doesn't affect you. He goes in Rockefeller, and seeing him like play these, a bit of it is like narcissistic because he just goes unannounced to just play his music for them, but a bit of it is like, that's the kind of, you should have some type of level of, you should be crazy about your music, you should be passionate about you should be annoying about your art, you need to be annoying about your art. Like I said, I'm from Pittsburgh. A lot of stories I hear about Mac Miller, Mac Miller is like 3 years older than me, so a lot of the people I grew up with went to Alderdice, the high school that he went to, so went to school with him, and a lot of people that I've worked with in music back home, tell me, I always ask about Mac Miller stories, and you know what they say all the time, the common thing, man, he was just this little white kid that used to be around, that used to just come around. He was around, he was annoying, he would play, he was annoying about his music, to the point where you're like, man, let me just give this kid a listen or a chance, and that's how you have to be about your music, your art, whatever you do, your passion, your dream, that's how you have to be, and that resonated with me so much, here he's playing All Falls Down, and these people are just like, oh, that sounds nice, and they didn't sign him, like he says in Last Call. So I was talking about comparing, Kanye's journey to Nipsey's journey as far as, being a marathon. The reason being is because, we see him go through what Nipsey says, I think he said it in a Big Boy interview, is that, he went through every emotion, felt every emotion that he could feel when chasing his dream. We see that, in this film with Kanye. One point is he goes to meet his cousin and his cousin tells him some guy wants to come over and rap for him, or pretty much wants some free beats. So many artists go through that, today. So many producers go through that. People not valuing their art. People not putting a price on their art. And he even says, people come to me like, I can watch TV the best. Like, you still gotta buy the TV. So. Seeing that just makes me feel, like, hey, these are just the steps that you have to go through when chasing your dream. Other people might not value your art, and that's their loss. It's crazy because at that time, he was still doing records for Jay-Z. He was in Rockefeller. He was around doing records for Talib Kweli. It wasn't like he was, just some struggling producer. Yet still somebody thought they could just rap their way into getting some free beats. I think me being a director that shined a light just on Cootie, the sacrifices that he made, moving to New York from Chicago. I mean, there's certain things that you don't see. I can imagine it wasn't as easy as it is maybe today, getting videography work. We have social media. We have a lot of things that assist us and getting our work out there. You're just walking around with a camera. It's not like you're Jay-Z and shooting Jay-Z or filming Beanie Siegel and all these guys. You're filming the underdog of Rockefeller, so I can't imagine he was getting paid, or if he was getting paid much at all. Having the vision, believing in God, having that faith is just the reoccurring message, reoccurring theme of this whole project. So, and Scarface kind of playing him, and that was kind of crazy to see, because what we know now is Kanye eclipsed Scarface, and I guess I would think if I was Scarface right now, I probably would have wished I listened or took that. I'm sure Scarface looks today and says, I should have wrote my verse or listened, But the crazy thing is that what I took from that is that you have to see the positivity, and you have to see the lesson, the positive in maybe failures, or the lesson in something. Even though Scarface didn't get on the track, Kanye was still super happy, and Cootie was still super happy. Like he said, that was some sick footage. They were still super happy for Scarface to even validate his rhymes or validate his beats, because Scarface says like, oh, that's hard, or he says he likes it, and Kanye is walking up there smiling like, that was some dope footage, man. Scarface, so to get that praise from your idols, man, that's all Kanye needed, and that's God's way of showing, man, that's all you don't need these people that you think you need to make things happen, man. All you need is yourself, and that sounds super cheesy and corny, but that's the truth, man. That's what this shows. And I definitely want to say we have to champion. We look at Rockefeller, one of these big, guys in Rockefeller to champion him. One of these big guys in Rockefeller. Obviously needs Rockefeller. Back then you needed a record deal, but you have to champion those people from your city, the small people that from his city that were around. It takes a village for sure, and this shows that. Jay Ivy and Cootie and this guy named JB on there, that's really all Kanye needed. That was his core, his Chicago family, having that energy. Obviously Consequence, I know he's from New York, but them being around, like that was all he needed for him to make it happen. Small people, the guy Quadis, I think he's from MTV. I think his name's Quadis from MTV. He gives him his first TV appearance. Talib brings him on stage, lets him gives him his first stage appearance, and then eventually he took him on his first tour. And those little things help you achieve, helped him achieve your dream. And I think it's super cool to see, like, I mean, if you're a fan, if you listen to Last Call from College Dropout, man, we get to see, like, he talks about all of these people that he names. Like, he says, like, this is pretty much at least the first act is pretty much Last Call in a visual form. He says, I went up there, guys, I played Jesus Walk for them and they didn't sign me. He was like, what'd he say? There was this nigga that messed with me, and he wasn't even a nigga, he was actually a white dude named 3H from Capitol Records. And then we see 3H in the video, like saying like, yo, we're trying to sign Kanye and all this type of stuff, and then Capitol pulls the deal, and we get to see Rock if him throw his chain on. I mean, it's super dope to see. And a lot of these and a lot of the footage was obviously used in Through the Wire video. I think lastly, the dynamic we see between mother and son, Kanye and Donda West, it's such a great relationship to see on screen. That footage gives us a lot of answers to why he is who he is, and how maybe the way he acts. She gives him that enough confidence, for him to be who he is, and pretty much kind of how he had to be to survive out there. But she gives him enough confidence, but she's still like, alright, brings him down, like humbles enough to where he doesn't like hit top ceiling. She has like one quote on there: a giant looks in the mirror and sees nothing, but it kind of makes him step back and think, and it even made me say, wow, that such a profound quote. Her wisdom is able to be seen and felt on camera. So, but yeah, if you haven't watched it, man, go tell me what you guys think about it in the comments. Let me know which parts that you liked or really resonated with you. Can't wait to see what we have in store for Act 2. So yeah, hope to see you guys soon. Probably we'll do a video on this on the next one, or the second or third, hopefully. So yeah, check it out. Holla at you guys. Peace.